What's up, everybody? So today I'm going through the 100 greatest baseball cards ever. Number 100 to 51, and then probably next week I'll do 50 to number 1. And the main reason why I decided to do this, I searched all over the internet just to find, all I wanted was like a top 100, like a checklist of what are the greatest baseball cards ever. And to be honest with you, every list that I saw kind of sucked. They would always like either focus on just vintage or just modern. Topps has their own list, which only includes Topps. So I thought I would, I did a lot of research to put together what I thought were the greatest baseball cards of all time. So hopefully you guys, I'm sure this is a very opinion-based video, so, feel free to weigh in. But I would appreciate if you guys wait until you see the entire list before you make comments in terms of what you disagree with. But just a couple things in terms of what I thought, what makes a great baseball card. Number one, the value. Number two, the player. The scarcity of the card. The demand of the card. Sort of the awesomeness factor, which is just like how awesome the card is. And then finally, sort of the overall impact to the hobby. So I got a lot of cards to go through, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So number 100 is the 87 Topps set, which I think probably my favorite card of the set is the Bo Jackson Future Stars card, but obviously it also includes the Barry Bonds, the Mark McGwire, and the Barry Larkin rookie. You could probably build a city with the amount of 87 Topps cards that were created. It's easily recognizable and probably top 10 sets of all time, in my opinion. Number 99, you'll see with a lot of these cards, I don't own a lot of these cards, so I had to basically take screenshots. So number 99 is the 2006 Bowman Chrome Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw his career has just been ridiculous. 1,700 innings pitched. He has a 2.39 ERA, which is the best among active pitchers with over 1,000 innings. Number 2 is Madison Bumgarner at a 2.93 ERA. So that just shows how much he's dominated the game. Number 98 is the T206 Tris Speaker. This is his only card of the T206 set. You'll see with other cards with the T206 set, there might be multiple versions of that particular player. But with Tris Speaker, this is his only card. It's just an awesome action shot. The guy hit 345. His career average was 345, which is top 5 hitters of all time in terms of career batting average. Number 97, I have, this is just a personal favorite of mine. It's the 92 Topps Cal Ripken. And the reason why I love it is, you can see Cal with Lou Gehrig's monument. This is obviously taken at the old Yankee Stadium at Monument Park. And I just happen to love this card, so I decided to fit it in to the top 100. Number 96, I have the 92 Fleer Mike Piazza, who is probably the greatest hitting catcher of all time and a recent Hall of Famer. Number 95 is the 1962 Topps Roger Maris. It's a very condition-sensitive card, and of course, if you're a fan of baseball, you know that in 1961, Roger Maris hit 61 home runs, so this is his 62 Topps card. It's his first year where Topps shows him as a Yankee, and on the back of the card, if you look carefully, of course, there's the 62 home runs that he hit in 1961, which is a pretty awesome feat, and to me, still the home run record to this day. Number 94 is the 2013 Bowman Chrome Carlos Correa. The reason why I decided to put this on the list is that this card has been insanely hot over the last year or two. It's cooled off considerably recently. He hasn't really met expectations this year, but he was the AL Rookie of the Year last year, and this has been on everyone's hot list over the last year or two. It's very close to getting bumped off the top 100, but for now I decided to keep it in the top 100. Next up is the 1989 Upper Deck Randy Johnson, the big unit. Hall of Famer, second all-time in strikeouts, and a 5-time Cy Young Award, and just an awesome card in a really awesome set. Number 92 is the 1953 Topps Satchel Paige. And, the cool thing with Satchel, this Satchel Paige is, it still amazes me to this day that he began his career with the Indians at the age of 42 and still ended up winning over 100 games in his career in the major leagues alone. This is his first and only Topps card, which is why it's a very important card. Number 91, a card that I don't have, but I wish I had, is the Josh Gibson 1950, Toilette Tours. It's the only known vintage trading card to ever feature Josh Gibson. And for those of you that don't know who Josh Gibson is, he was basically considered to be the Babe Ruth of the Negro Leagues. And at one point, they didn't really have statistics back then, but it's sort of told that a lot of people believe that he hit 75 home runs in 1931 and a total of 800 home runs over his entire career, which is absolutely insane. Number 90 is Jackie Robinson, and this is his rookie card. Obviously, Jackie had an everlasting impact on the game and society, and obviously makes this a really important piece, and obviously a reason to keep it in the top 100. And number 89, I have the 1994 SP Alex Rodriguez. And the crazy thing about this card is back in 2008, the base of this card was selling for like $150, and now you can get it for like $5. It's just amazing. A lot of people, even to this day, of course with the steroids and everything, a lot of people still consider him possibly the greatest shortstop ever. A lot of people, even if they don't really like him, have him in the top 25, and this was like, back in the day, this was worth a ton of money, but obviously it's worth a lot less now with all the steroid allegations and everything. Number 88 is the 1972 Topps. Basically, it's the Carlton Fisk card, but there's also Cecil Cooper, who was had a really nice career playing for the Brewers. And basically everyone knows Carlton Fisk for the home run that he hit in the 1975 World Series, and he's also a Hall of Famer. Just a really cool card. Number 87 is this Al Kaline. It's the rookie card, the 1954 Topps Al Kaline. This is also the year of the Hank Aaron rookie. He's obviously a Detroit Tigers legend, a 15-time All-Star. It's also the same year as the Ernie Banks rookie as well. Number 86, another card that I don't own, but I wish I owned, was the 1984 Fleer Update Kirby Puckett. It was estimated that only 50,000 Fleer Update sets were ever made. And he's a Hall of Famer. He's actually the third youngest player ever elected, and he was elected to the Hall of Fame at 41. The two guys that were elected at an earlier age, in case you're wondering, is Koufax and Lou Gehrig. Number 85 is the 1959 Topps Bob Gibson. Won 20 or more games 7 times in his career. And in 1968, he had a 1.12 ERA. And he was sort of known for just throwing it in your ear. He's one of those guys you do not want to mess with. So it's a really cool card. And then number 84, the 1965 Topps Steve Carlton. He won. What I think is amazing about Steve Carlton is that he won 27 games for the last place Phillies in 1972. I don't know how you could play for a last place team and win 27 games. I just think that's absolutely insane. Number 83 is the 1965 Topps Joe Morgan. This is the Hall of Fame version of his rookie card. part of the Big Red Machine. He was sort of known for power and speed. He's also known for being a broadcaster, which I'm not a huge fan of him being a broadcaster, but just a really awesome card. Number 82 is the 2011 Bowman Chrome Bryce Harper. This is obviously his Superfractor card. It's pretty amazing to think that Bryce Harper is only 23 years old, which is absolutely crazy. And I think that this card at one point sold for about $25,000, which is pretty crazy. Number 81 is the 1949 Bowman Duke Snider, yet another card that I don't own, but would love to own. This, again, is his rookie card. Everyone, sort of thinks of, Mickey and Willie, and those guys also played in New York at the same time that Duke Snider played. All those guys were playing in New York at the same time. But between 1950 and 1959, he had the most home runs of any player, and that includes, obviously, Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays. So, take that. Number 80, 1949 Bowman Roy Campanella. Also, obviously a fellow Brooklyn Dodger, three MVPs, and obviously did it as a catcher, which is pretty amazing in itself. Number 79 is the 1962 Topps Lou Brock, and he used to be the all-time stolen base leader, and until Rickey Henderson obviously broke his career record. And he's also part of the 3,000 hit club, but just obviously an awesome card. I always like the wooden borders. I always thought that's like a really cool part of the cards. Number 78. Number 78 is the 1978 Topps Eddie Murray. He's second only to Mickey Mantle in home runs among switch hitters. So he has 504 home runs. Mickey Mantle has 536 home runs, and is one of 3 players in the history to record 300 hits and 500 home runs. The other 2 guys being Hank Aaron and Willie Mays. And just one of the awesomest cards. This is obviously from the Dimitri Young collection, the PSA 10. Number 77 is the 1957 Topps Brooks Robinson. This guy was called the Human Vacuum. Won 16 consecutive Gold Gloves, which is, I can't even imagine, between 1960 and 1975, which is absolutely insane. Number 76 is the 1967 Topps Rod Carew. Rod Carew had 15 seasons where he hit over 300. 15 seasons. I guess a PSA 10, I took this in my notes, PSA 10 sold for $60,000 in 2013. I don't know. Every time I think of Rod Carew, I think of that Beastie Boys song where he's like, "And I've got mad hits like I was Rod Carew." I don't know, but I don't know why. I don't know why I put that in. Number 75. Oh, not there yet. Number 75 is the 1992 Bowman Mariano Rivera, the greatest closer of all time, the most saves of all time. I guess on one occasion, I was reading up on him that he broke Ryan Klesko's bat 3 times in one particular at bat. But he's, I still wonder to this day whether this card was taken in Panama or just taken in Florida. But I always really like this card. Just obviously the greatest closer ever, and has to be in the top 100, in my opinion. Number 74, another card that I do have, and it's the 1990 Leaf Frank Thomas. This used to be like $100 card, like all the time, and even though he's a Hall of Famer now, If you just get like a base card, it's, not worth that much. But, if you get it graded, it might be worth a lot more. But and this 1990 Leaf set was huge back in the early 90s. But one of the really, really cooler cards from that set. Number 73 is one of the most iconic cards, which is the 1991 Upper Deck Michael Jordan. Again, a virtually worthless card. And to be honest with you, a card that kind of annoys me because it just sort of reminds me that, like, if you have a Jordan card, like a basketball, like I should have collected basketball cards, but instead I collected baseball cards. I wish I had collected more basketball cards, but, obviously Jordan tried a career at baseball, didn't work out too well, but it's still one of the coolest cards that's ever been made, and definitely deserving of a spot in the top 100. Number 72, which you might have saw for a second, is the 1887 Allen and Ginter Charles Comiskey. So for those of you guys that don't know Charles Comiskey, between 1882 to 1891, he compiled a .264 batting average, 29 home runs, nothing crazy, and he was also a manager. But what he was known for, he's not known more for what he did after his baseball career. So he purchased the team, the White Sox, back in 1900 and owned it until his death in 1931. And he oversaw, obviously, the building of the Comiskey Park, which in 1991 moved to U.S. Cellular Field. In 1910, won several American League championships and 2 World Series titles. But then his legacy was sort of tarnished when his team had an involvement in the Black Sox scandal, which I'm sure you guys have probably heard about, in which several players were banned because they threw the 1919 World Series. He was sort of known, and a lot of people blame him sort of for the Black Sox scandal because he was known for cost cutting, failing to reimburse players for like laundry bills and travel expenses. But with that being said, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame back in 1939. So he has a very interesting career, and this 1887 card is a really brilliant, awesome card. So I definitely wanted to include it. Next up is the 2011 Topps Update Mike Trout. Over the last 10 years, you have, in terms of the greatest players, you had A-Rod, but then, obviously his career didn't pan out. Then you had Pujols was the greatest player in the game. Then it was Miguel Cabrera. But ever since, I'd probably say about 2014 when he won the MVP, he's been basically widely considered the best player in baseball. And this is his, rookie card, and it's a really, you got the rookie logo down here. It's a really, really cool card, and every reason to include it in the top 100. Number 70 is the 1957 Topps Mantle Yogi card. Berra had 2 cards in the 1957 Topps, which were on opposite sets of the checklist. He started at card number 2 and then ended with this card, which is the Yogi Berra Mickey Mantle card, as the last card in the set, number 407. I just think this is just such an awesome card. Yankees power hitters, and definitely wanted. This was sort of like the awesomeness factor. It also is a very valuable card as well. So, number 69 is the Topps traded Barry Bonds. And for some reason I decided to pull 3 of these just to brag. This is just Barry Bonds, he's the only player in the history of baseball that has 500 home runs and 500 steals. He may be the greatest player ever, you know, if you discount all of the steroids and everything, which is hard to discount, but his numbers are ridiculous. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but this is just an awesome card from the 86 Topps traded set that I wanted to make sure I included. Number 68 is the 1887 Old Judge Cap Anson. He was Cap Anson, for those of you guys that don't know him, he was basically the first superstar of baseball. He hit 324 times. He hit 324 times. The problem with the cards in the 1800s, I just want to say, is that like they're so rare that it's almost hard for them to be considered to be the greatest cards ever because they're so ridiculously rare. I do have one card from the 1800s. It's this Old Judge, and this is from the same set, Sun Daly. I would obviously rather own the Cap Anson card. But that's sort of, you know, this is actually the last card from the 1800s that I have on the top 100 cards of all time. I'm not a big 1800s fan. I don't know a lot about it, so, you know, there might be more valuable or more greater cards from the 1800s, but this was the highest ranked 1800 card from the 1800s. And, you know, I'm pretty sure he's widely considered the greatest player of that era. And this is a very rare card that I obviously would love to own. So, next up is the 2013 Bowman Chrome Kris Bryant. The Superfractor was on sale last year in 2015 for $90,000. And it got sold, but I don't think it was ever released like what it sold for. And Kris Bryant's just such a, you know, you could just tell he's going to be a superstar in the league. He has that sort of uppercut swing, very similar to Ken Griffey Jr. I have very high hopes for him. As you guys, if you've watched my previous videos, I invested in the 2014 Bowman Chrome prospect cards, the PSA 10 version, but you know, I just think that there's big things coming for him. But so, you know, and again, $90,000 for a 2013 Bowman Chrome card. I think it had a pretty big impact on the hobby. So, number 66 is the 1957 Topps Frank Robinson. He's the first man to win the MVP in both the NL and the AL leagues. In 1966, he won the Triple Crown, and also, so he won the Triple Crown and then also won the World Series MVP. So I think that's a pretty damn good year. Number 65, which is, it's amazing that I don't have this card, is the 1983 Topps Tony Gwynn. This also is the year, you know, obviously when Wade Boggs and Ryan Sandberg have their rookies. And I always thought it was interesting that he's wearing number 53 here. And however, he wore number 19 throughout his career. Another thing that I thought was crazy, I actually looked it up on eBay. I saw this card sell for $2. So it's amazing that Tony Gwynn, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest cards ever, is selling for $2. I just thought that was crazy. Number 64, 1967 Topps Tom Seaver. And, you know, Tom Seaver, 3-time Cy Young Award winner. He had 98.8.4% voted him into the Hall of Fame, which is the second most percentage received for the Hall of Fame to only Griffey, who recently got inducted to the Hall of Fame. But Tom Seaver, obviously a Hall of Famer, and this is his rookie card. Next up is the 1984 Topps Don Mattingly. And again, not putting this on the list because of value. I'm putting this on the list due to the impact of the hobby and sort of the awesomeness of the card. And you guys know that I'm a Don Mattingly and Yankee homer, so I had to have this on the list. 1985 MVP, one of the greatest defensive first baseman that I've ever seen. I think he's a Hall of Famer, but I'm sure a lot of people disagree with that. He single-handedly drove sales of baseball cards in the late 80s, or at least his baseball card did. And that's the reason why I have it so high on this list. Number 62 is the 1990 Topps Frank Thomas, no name on front. One of the biggest error cards of all time, and a very recognizable card. You know, a Hall of Fame player, and one of just like the most sought after errors of all time, and that's, you know, why I decided to put it in this list. Next up is the number 61 is the T206 Christy Mathewson. You can see here that there were 3 different versions of the Christy Mathewson card, and Christy Mathewson four times won 30 games or more. The white hat version is the most scarce, whereas the portrait version is probably the most popular version of the Christy Mathewson cards. Next up is at number 60 is the 1952 Topps Eddie Mathews. This is his rookie card, and actually the final card of the inaugural set of the 1952 Topps set. It's actually the last card, and I just think it's crazy that in his second year, in 1952, he hit 47 home runs, and he's part of the 500 home run club. Number 59, a card that I would love to own, is the T206 Walter Johnson, the Big Train. This might be one of the greatest pitchers of all time, if not the greatest pitcher of all time. He had 417 victories and a 2.17 career ERA. And you can see here there are 2 different variations. I think the portrait card is a little bit more available, whereas the hands at chest is a little bit more scarce. It's sort of more the variation. Number 58, another card that shockingly I don't own, is the 1984 Fleer Update Roger Clemens. And Clemens probably, you know, if I didn't know he did steroids, I probably would consider him the greatest pitcher of all time, or at least, the greatest pitcher that I've ever seen. And he has 7 Cy Youngs, which is the most Cy Youngs of any pitcher ever in the history of baseball. Number 57 is the 87 Donruss Greg Maddux. He won more games in the 1990s than any pitcher in baseball. The interesting thing about Greg Maddux is he didn't have overpowering stuff like Sandy Koufax and Clemens, but he had the ability to sort of outthink pitchers. Outthink hitters. He had pinpoint control. And the funny thing is, like, in the beginning of his career, like, he went 6-14 in his first career with a 5.61 ERA. So a lot of people didn't think too highly of him. He didn't have anything, like, you know, he didn't have great stuff. But he turned out, you know, if you want to say Clemens, Greg Maddux, if you want to say Greg Maddux was the greatest pitcher you've ever seen, I totally have no problem with that. And this is a tough card to find in good condition because of the black borders. Next up is at number 56 is the Johnny Bench rookie. This is probably the greatest catcher in the history of baseball, and Johnny Bench's rookie card. At number 55 is this awesome Bo Jackson card, and sort of put this on there because of the awesomeness. Whenever I think of Bo Jackson, I always think of that wall run catch that he had, where he like basically ran up on the wall. I just think he's just like, his career was amazing to me. I mean, in 1989, he hit 32 home runs. And then in football, ran for 954 yards for the Oakland Raiders. So he was just a beast. And I don't know. This was just such a cool card. It was such a sought-after card in the late 80s, early 90s. Of course, he was injured. It kind of derailed his career, but wanted to include this highly in my top 100. Next up, and the highest ranked Barry Bonds card at number 54 is the 87 Fleer Barry Bonds. I already went through, I don't need to tell you guys, about Barry Bonds. This was probably, when people didn't know he was doing steroids. I'm sure they did know, but before that, all that came out, this was sort of the most sought after card of his, and definitely a really cool card to own. At number 53 is the 1971 Topps Thurman Munson. He was the 1970 American League Rookie of the Year. I actually decided to pick this card and not his rookie card in the top 100. I just love this card. You could see him in the catcher uniform. You got the the All-Star rookie right there in the left-hand corner. And just absolutely love this card. It's a really, really hard card to get in really good condition because of the black borders. And just, definitely, in my opinion, one of the top 100 cards of all time. Number 52, the 1979 Topps Ozzie Smith rookie, the Wizard. 15-time All-Star, inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2002. This card is usually found severely off-center for some reason, preventing, most examples, but this is clearly the PSA 10 Dmitri Young. Again, a card that I can't believe I don't own, but would love to own. I'm sure you could pick it up at a pretty good price, too. So, and finally, the last card on this list, number 51, and I will... Guys, so for some reason the video got cut, but just to finish up, at number 51 we have the 1941 Play Ball Ted Williams. This 1941 is the year that he hit 406, and amazingly decided to play in a doubleheader, risking his 400 batting average, and went 6 for 8 at the end of the season to finish 406. Amazingly, he actually finished second in the MVP voting to Joe DiMaggio. So anyway, that wraps up the 100 to number 51 greatest cards of all time. I will obviously be doing another video to do number 50 to number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please feel free to like the video if you liked it, and feel free to also comment on it. And I will be following up soon with a number 50 to number 1 greatest cards ever. Thanks.